Thank you. You should have taken your hat off already. We've just got some people coming in the back at the moment. Need to sit down. And we'll start today's college assembly. Just wait for everyone to settle. We've got acknowledgement to country, and then Hogan has the opening prayer. So we'll just call up the Hogan people first while we start the video for acknowledgement to country. Thank you.
As Indigenous and non-Indigenous people together, let us have a sense of importance of the country which we are standing upon, where learning and ceremony have taken place over many thousands of years.
We acknowledge and respect the country, the skies, the waterways, and the spiritual systems of the traditional custodians of this land which we gather on today. Let us sense the land beneath our feet and acknowledge its custodians.
Let us pay our respects to elders, past, present, and emerging, as they hold the knowledge, language, and spiritual connection to this country. For we too are one in land, one in spirit, one in faith, united in God's love.
You want to put it on somebody else. The reason why I'm not successful is because of my boss. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I'm not getting up on time. I'm not going to work on time. I'm not putting in 120% when I'm at work.
Changing your behaviors, overcoming negative habits, it's challenging. It's hard.
Make a choice, right? You just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way.
When you have something you want to do, if you don't develop the courage to do that which has been given you to do, and you spend a lot of time going around trying to convince other people or trying to get their approval, what will happen is that you will lose your nerve. And other people will convince you that what you're doing doesn't have any value, and you'll give up on your dream. If you get into the habit of just being mediocre, it will become a part of your consciousness. If you get in the habit of giving less than what you have it within you to give, it will begin to reflect itself in your personality. It will begin to damage you psychologically. Most people never develop their talents. They have skills and abilities, but if you don't nurture them, if you don't develop them, they will never serve you. Your gifts can take you many places if you develop your gifts. One idea can change your life. One idea can turn your life around.
Our prayer today looks at one of the Catholic social teachings of solidarity. The principle of solidarity looks at all of us having and owning the responsibility of helping each other achieve to our full potential. In a community setting such as ours at Shalom College, each and every person, from staff members to students to parents and even community members that we come in contact with through our work and studies, plays a vital role in believing in each other and helping each other.
Of course, true solidarity can only be achieved if each person holds everyone else in high regard. So, think about this as students. How can we achieve our full potential if we don't put good efforts in at school? Or if we display bad behaviors that stop us and others from achieving? And as the video made us consider, how can we achieve solidarity if we don't start with believing in ourselves?
Stop and think about solidarity as we pray together. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord God, help us all to stand as one in solidarity and be united in focus both within our Shalom College community and broader society. Help us to develop the right mindset and habits that will enable us to attempt to reach our full potential, individually and collectively with all those we meet. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Nice prayer, Hogan. Thank you. Solidarity. Hold everyone else in high regard. It's a wonderful concept. Hogan House led us in this. Do we all know who Hogan House is named after? Can someone who is not in Hogan House tell me who Hogan House is named after? Ice block time. Ryan. Who was Brother Hogan, Ryan? Sorry? Wrong. Thanks for playing. But it's a tricky one. Who can tell me who Hogan House is named after? Good grief. Hogan House. Who can tell me who Hogan House is named after? Oh, Mr. Knott, what have we been doing? Who is that at the back there? Yes. Brother Hogan, I just got that one. Who was Brother Hogan? Yes, he was. See me at afternoon tea time for an ice block. Brother Hogan, Brother Joseph Hogan, was the first principal of Christian Brothers College, Bundaberg, that opened 100 years ago this year. It's where Christian Brothers Bundaberg was where the library in town is now. There's still a couple of old buildings there. The first principal of Shalom was Brother Hogan, coincidentally, different guys. But we name Hogan House after Brother Joseph Hogan, who started Christian Brothers Bundaberg 100 years ago. He would be so proud if he could be here today to see what that college has grown into. And that we still hold up that basic Catholic value that we hold everyone in high regard. Brother Hogan would be delighted. So proud. This is really important, that concept. Gee, I hope we do that. Put that slide up, because last week I got an email from a past student who was here only a few years ago. He sent me this email. I remember the boy well. He said, I'm emailing you, Mr. McMahon, this morning to inform you that today is Wear It Purple Day. Wear It Purple Day is a day to support LGBTQI youth and acknowledge the struggles they face. LGBTQ youth are 3 times more likely to be suicidal than straight youth, and a national study found that 40% of trans adults have attempted suicide, 92% of which did so before the age of 25. He tells me that he's same-sex attracted and he suffered from depression and that he's made attempts to take his life over the years. He said, I humbly ask you to make an announcement today telling young people at Shalom that they're okay. Straight, bi, gay, whatever, that you're okay and that you're loved and accepted. It's a small gesture. So I promised him, I emailed him back and promised him I'd do that. So I'm doing that today. I asked him to reflect on his time at Shalom and tell me honestly, when he was here for his 5 years at Shalom, did he find Shalom a safe and welcoming place in his journey of working through his own sexuality and who he was as a person? And I held my breath waiting for the reply. And he emailed straight back and said, yes, I did. I found Shalom great. It's been other stuff and things and different times that have been tough. But I was really pleased to hear that. Brother Hogan, from 1919 would be really pleased to hear that. That we are still a community where everyone is respected and we make no judgment on people because of difference. We need to be a positive space. We need to be a safe place. No one is bad because of their sexual preference. It just is. And we need to create an environment where that's trusted and respected and dealt with positively all the time. And so I suppose from this young man that I'm saying to you, if we have, and I'm sure we will have, students who will not be sure of their sexual preference or working it through or whatever else, as you are welcome here in this Catholic school, we will expect everyone here to be treated with respect, to be dealt with positively, to be looked after, to be checked up on. And we will not stand by ever and allow that to be brought into question. We will not tolerate people who would ridicule, defame, or run down anyone else on the basis of race, sexuality, religion, hair colour, anything else. We stand in solidarity with people. Which made me, another thing that I came across the other day, I listened to a really good talk by a young woman who played cricket for Australia. And she showed this little video, and we're moving in the next month or so, I'm going to be taking students to a white ribbon breakfast that we have every year in Bundaberg, where it's a breakfast for men, basically, who make a stand against violence against women. On average, in this country, every week, a woman is murdered through domestic violence, let alone all the people who are hurt, bashed, beaten, humiliated, screamed at by blokes. Mostly blokes. Huge percentage of blokes. The boys in the room. There is a problem with masculinity in this country today. We need to do something about that. We need to be better. And she just showed this really nice video that I thought we'd have a quick look at.
1 in 4 Australian women has experienced violence by a current or former partner.
1 in 4.
That's a lot of people that I know.
The vast majority of violence against women is perpetrated by men.
This means we have a responsibility
To change our culture.
To be respectful and inclusive.
Be a respectful role model for our current and future generations.
To achieve gender equality.
To create an equal playing field.
for men and women on and off the field.
Women's place in sport is right alongside the men.
Female athletes should have the same opportunities as male athletes.
Equality in sport means equal pay,
equal support and equal media coverage for both men and women.
Ending violence against women begins with respect and equal opportunities for men and women.
Instead of asking me about what I'm wearing, ask me about the tackle I just made.
Instead of being surprised that I played professional rugby, why not come watch me?
Ending violence against women begins with respect for women, men, boys and girls.
I'll speak up when I hear sexist jokes and comments. Will you?
Will you?
For once, I'd like female athletes to be given the same opportunities as men.
I want to be known as an athlete, not a female athlete.
I'm ready to change a story that ends in violence against women. Are you?
Are you?
For once, we'd like an equal playing field.
Together, we can change the story.
Join me.
Join me.
Join me.
Join me.
Join me.
Join me in making violence and disrespect a thing of the past.
Girls, never, ever in your life tolerate a bloke treating you anything other than respectfully. Never tolerate a bloke being in any way violent. Walk away from them straight away. Do not think you can fix them. Do not think they'll get better. Walk away. For the blokes, we need to do this so much better. There's another thing a little clip I want to show you. None of you will have seen this, I'm sure. Did anyone watch The Hunting on SBS, 4-part series recently? Ooh, Mackenzie, good. I've got one. Anyone else watch that 4-part series on SBS? Rats. I really hope you do. I'd love you to sit and watch it with your parents. Geez, it was a good show. You know the number of times I speak to you about don't press send thinking something's going to be private. That's what this story was about, and all the ramifications of that. It was a really good show. There's a really nice scene. It's really short. It's right at the end of episode 4, where this teacher is talking to a class of boys and girls about violence and predatory behaviour and all that sort of stuff. Can I just show you this little, please?
Boys, what do you do in your everyday to avoid sexual violence?
Now, in the scene, and that's it, the boys sit there like stunned mullet. Boys, if I asked you, in your everyday life, what do you do to protect yourself against sexual violence? I suspect you will all sit there like stunned mullet. Just like I did, I thought. I've never even thought of that. All the times I've gone out to a pub or something at night, or a club or a dinner or something, I've never thought, how do I protect myself against sexual violence? It's not something we think about. And then the next part of the clip.
Girls, what do you do in your everyday to avoid sexual violence?
Travel in groups. Look deliberately unapproachable.
Go to the bathroom with someone else.
Making guys feel better or smarter about themselves.
Have 000 on speed dial. Never put your drink down in public.
Always coming up with an escape plan.
And you also have to be really apologetic. You can't just be like, no, I don't want to give you my number. You have to be sorry. I'm seeing someone. You have to cushion it and sugarcoat it so you're not at the receiving end of their.
I just found that really confronting. That girls have to do that. They should not have to do that. Girls, I want you to do that. I want you to be careful. But you should not have to do that. Boys, we need to be better. So let's keep thinking about that. Let's make this place, for a start, a really respectful environment where we never treat girls or anyone disrespectfully. We stay in solidarity. We hold everyone in high regard. We've started a Shalom Representative Council, and we've spoken about that, and you've heard a little bit about that at your house assemblies. And I think this will be a good thing. And that's our aims: to act as a voice, provide reliable communication between staff and students. 2, within reason, bring necessary and feasible betterment to the school for students. Consider all advice. That's our student. Could I ask the student rep council members to just stand where you are? We have 4 per house. Stand up, please. The other half of them. Along with our student leaders are all members of the Student Representative Council. I would like you to be aware of who your house reps are. If there are issues that you think you would like raised, I would like you to be able to approach these guys. I do not want this to be, we want a different flavour ice block at the tuck shop, or there's not enough cold drink bubblers around. I don't want it to be, I'm not interested in whinges. But if there's serious stuff, like, is there any place at Shalom where kids don't feel safe? I want to know that from you. And this might be a way to get that through. Or that we're not treating people respectfully. Or that we're not looking after people. That's the stuff, the bigger issues is what I want the Student Rep Council to do. Thank you guys, take a seat. So emails to your house coordinators, see them. So keep that in mind, please. The other note I got this week was from one of our dearly loved members of staff who has to hand in his resignation to me the other day. All of you who know Mr. Kerry will know that he's been really battling ill health recently. And all of you, particularly, I guess, the older students will have had more to do with Mr. Kerry than the younger ones, but he has just been a great presence in this community. As someone who has held everyone in high regard, That man has been the epitome of solidarity in this community. He has lived our values. He's another one of whom Brother Hogan in 1919 would be enormously proud to say he is a follower of Edmund Rice. That's what we set this school up for. But Mr. Carey's had a tough time. And he wrote to me, and I'll just read it out to you. He wrote this for the newsletter, but in case you guys don't read the newsletter. Recently, I visited Dan McMahon to inform Shalom that I will not be returning to my role as a study supervisor. As usual, I became quite emotional. Leaving students from study was quite a difficult choice, having enjoyed their company over recent years. My present health reality is dominated by prostate cancer that impacts all of my bones, making it imperative to avoid any risk from falls or infection. I have just completed 5 months of chemotherapy treatment, and although successfully slowing the spread of the cancer, it cannot be cured. Next week sees more tests and a decision on what sort of treatment that will now be effective. I have great confidence in my GP and oncologist. More exciting is the upcoming visit of our newest grandson, Max, from Sweden in a few weeks, a critical part of my recovery. Grandchildren are worth any number of chemo treatments. Father's Day was a glorious day in Brisbane with 18-month-old Quinn, where I found myself just looking at her in awe of her cleverness. Obviously got this from her grandparents. Thank you all for your good wishes and concerns, but I am being really well cared for by the staff of the Friendly's Oncology Unit. Bundaberg is so fortunate to have these capable professionals from all over Australia and the world. They really embody one of my main themes we discussed often in study: be kind. He might watch this on video, or Mrs. Boland might take this back, but can you give that man an enormous round of applause? He has been a huge gift to the school. Couple of plays of the week. Stacey Ruthenberg, a couple of weeks ago in Year 8, good kid, saw a whole bin overturned and just by herself went up and cleaned up the whole flaming thing. I just ask you to pick up one paper a day. Stacey did enough for a year, but I'm sure she'll keep doing it, but that's just a great effort. I was watching a little bit of soccer yesterday. Lily Thatcher in the grade 7-8 soccer team scored a lovely goal that I saw yesterday, and they won that game 4-0 yesterday, but Lily scored 10 goals in 4 games. What a striker. Well done. I was watching a bit of basketball in here yesterday, and I've watched this team for the last few weeks. We've got a couple of girls' open basketball teams. One of them's really good. The other one's hopeless. And in the hopeless side, we have Matilda Harmon, whom I thought would never score a goal in her life. But she did. Last week, she scored a goal. And would you know that yesterday... Now, I heard this. Where is Matilda, please? Let me embarrass you publicly. Wave, please. Where are you? Wave. Someone. Where are you? I can't... Oh, she is standing up. Oh, no, she's not. That you scored 2 yesterday. Is that true? Unbelievable. Well done. Miracles can happen. Well done, Matilda. Great job. Sam Freeman, who's sitting up here beside me in Year 12, great young man, performed recently for us at the Rotary East presentation and their support for, and thanking Rotary for their support for him attending the National Youth Science Forum, and did really well in representing us at that. And also Sam recently entered the Quota Student of the Year competition. He was approached at the last minute to do this, as Shalom had no entries, and most of the Bundaberg High Schools had at least 1 or 2. He completed a written application overnight as entries had closed back in mid-June. He was interviewed before a panel on a Saturday morning and attended a formal dinner where he was provided a 5-minute speech on the topic of his choice. Sam whipped up a speech fairly quickly on the subject of scientists, the new age rock stars. Now, if you convinced anyone of that, Sam, you've done really well. But so great job. He was awarded runner-up in that competition and got a $200 voucher. So well done to all those kids, to Sam and all those kids. But Sam, you're my player of the week this week. Well done. Ice block for you as well. At the end of assembly, please, Year 11 boys. can I see you here? Just the boys, year 11 boys, for a couple of minutes.
Shalom had 2 teams participate in the Wide Bay Regional OptiMinds competition on Saturday the 24th of August. Both teams received honours, with one of the teams also receiving the Spirit of OptiMinds Award for amazing group work.
Could the following students please come forward to collect their certificates from Mr. McMahon? Kaylee Jansen, Mia Bellenberg, Samantha Harris, Brooklyn Terry, Hannah Nash, Jasmine Dooley, Abash Patak, Naomi Anderson, Damon O'Brien and Brianna Dooley. Can we please congratulate these students?
Each year, many Shalom College music students attend the State Honours Ensemble program, or SHEP for short, in Rockhampton, Bundaberg and Brisbane. These workshops are organised by Griffith University Conservatorium of Music, and teachers from the conservatorium instruct instrumental and choral groups for a 2 to 3 day period. The SHEP program for Bundaberg is for middle school musicians who, at the conclusion of the workshop's weekend, perform in concert for band, strings and choir for parents and friends. Could the following students who attended the Bundaberg SHEP early this term please come forward to accept a certificate from Mr. McMahon for your participation this year? So Sam Card, Patrick Connolly, Carter Lassells, Josephine Mansky, Lily Matthews, Simon Millett, Gabriella Miners, Matthew Parker, Slade Pierce, Jaslyn Phillips, Elizabeth Pitt, Alyssa Samways, Harrison Samways, Indiana Sly, and Libby Boas. Could we congratulate these students?
This year's inter-house bombardment competition for both junior and senior was organised and run by the Year 12 leaders who were ably assisted by many of the senior students. In Term 1, the junior competition saw Hogan as winners. This term, we held the senior competition, which ran over 4 lunch breaks every week. The final was held on Monday, where Lingari defeated Walsh 2-1 to claim the senior trophy. Thank you to all the college and house captains, especially Harold, for creating the draw for the comp, as well as ensuring there were referees for each game. Thank you also to Liam Morrison and Jordan Condon for emceeing all the games. As well as this, we'd like to thank all the Year 12 students who gave up their lunch times to ref matches for both junior and senior comps, especially Jake Bonus and Ryan Stanton, who were at every single game. I'd now like to invite Hogan House leaders Sam and Talia and Lingari House captains Nicola and Chris to come forward to collect their trophies. Yeah, good job.
I'd now like to invite Mrs. Bolam to speak about the college's Cash for Cans initiative.
Morning, students. I want to talk to the whole school about our recycling program. We've been recycling since last November, and Shalom was one of the first schools to do this recycling program in Queensland. We've been collecting plastics and plastic bottles and cans by using the colour bins since then. This project makes about $100 a month for the houses by collecting our recycled material. And I want to thank all of the students who regularly put their bottles and cans in the coloured bins. You have contributed to this project immensely. But I would like to emphasise a few aspects, as not all students are doing this. The coloured bins are only for plastic drink bottles. They're only for juice bottles, poppers, favourite milk cartons, water bottles, cans. Once again, can I ask you to take the lid off, take the straw, and check that there's no liquid left inside. Nothing else must go into these recycling bins. Not the plastic bags, and I know they're plastic. Not the plastic bags your sandwiches come in, nor the sandwiches, or any other rubbish. Unfortunately, this continues to happen and has been left to one very kind person, who I won't mention here, to go through our recycling each week before it goes to the depot to eliminate any rubbish. Otherwise, Shalom will no longer be part of this recycling program. I don't think that's necessary for him to do it. So from today, we're going to try and make it a little easier for you. We'll put a recycling bin with a coloured lid near the low black rubbish bins. If you have a drink, take the lid off, put the straw and the lid in the low black bin. Put your recycling, the plastics, the cartons, in the coloured bins. It doesn't matter what coloured bin you put it in, because we have decided to equally distribute the money to all the houses at the end of the year. This is something we all can do, and do very easily. So let's see if we can do it, please. Thank you.
We will now have some students from the Year 11 Certificate 3 of Business class talk about this year's Are You OK Day.
One in 7 young people aged 4 to 17 years will experience a mental health condition in any given year. That is approximately the size of our biggest house, McKillop. Visually, this number is beyond alarming. McKillop, you may now sit down. Coming up on the 12th of September is Are You OK Day. Are You OK Day is set out to recognise the struggles of people around us. It is about checking up on your friends and looking out for your mates. Approximately 45% of Australian adults will be affected by mental illnesses at some point in their lives, with 3% being seriously affected. However, this is not all bad news. With treatment and support, the majority of people with mental illnesses will recover well.
We are here today to make it known that it is our job to ensure that our friends know that it is okay to not be okay, and that there are always people who are available to provide support during tough times. Here at Shalom, you can always chat to your friends, PC teacher or house coordinator, who will provide a listening ear and refer you onto our school counsellors if needed. The discussions around mental health should not make us embarrassed or have negative connotations. We need to work together as a community to remind each other to ask, are you okay?
There's something we need to talk about. It's happening in Australia and will impact many of us. Suicide. An average of 8 people die by suicide every day in Australia alone. For every death, it's estimated 30 people will attempt to take their life. And 89% of people report knowing someone who has attempted it. So why is this happening? Research shows that when these 3 factors combine, it increases someone's risk of suicide. 1. Feeling isolated or disconnected from others. 2. The belief that they are a burden on others or society. And 3. Having the means to take their life. Are You OK is working to ensure everyone feels connected and is protected from suicide. We focus on reducing feelings of isolation and disconnection. But how do we do this? We all experience life's ups and downs and things like grief, relationship breakdown, financial difficulty, or losing a job. These moments can really challenge us. And sadly, many people feel they don't have anyone to confide in, but there is something that can help. You. Are You OK's impact is helping you make a difference to the people who are struggling with life. We do this by encouraging you to invest more time in the people around you, because when our relationships are strong, we're more likely to see those signs that someone's struggling. And when you see those signs, notice changes, or just feel that something's not quite right with your friend, colleague, loved one, teammate, or neighbour, we want you to trust that gut instinct. Reach out to them and ask, "Are you okay?" You don't have to wait until they're in crisis. The earlier you reach out, the better the result. We know it can sometimes feel uncomfortable, especially if the person answers, "No, I'm not okay." And that's okay. But you can make a difference if you follow Are You OK's 4 conversation steps. 1. Ask, "Are you okay?" 2. Listen. 3. Encourage action. And 4. Check in. By making time to look out for those around you, you can help people feel connected and help them access appropriate support long before they think about suicide. If we all meaningfully connect with those who may be struggling with life, we can increase people's sense of belonging and create a world where we're all connected and are protected from suicide. Ask, "Are you okay?" and start a conversation that could change a life.
Since Are You OK Day is about starting a conversation, we have compiled some trivia to get Shalom more comfortable with discussing mental health. As we have done before, can everyone please stand up? PC teachers, can you please keep watch of your PC? Alright guys, so how the game is going to work is we're going to give you three questions, and basically A will be hands on heads, answer B will be putting your hands on your hips, and answer C will be crossing your arms. Basically it's a trust game, and if you get it right then you continue to stand.
When was the Are You OK Foundation established? What is the date for Are You OK Day?
How many Australians will experience a mental illness in their lifetime? Doing pretty good.
Next one. Where is the Are You OK headquarters located? many counsellors do we have at Shalom?
So everyone who is still standing, I'm not too sure how many of you there are. 1, 2, 3, 4? 4, okay. Can everyone of those guys please come up and we'll give you a prize?
Under the seat. It's under the seat over there.
Are You OK Day is on the 12th of September. During lunchtime, we'll be selling sugar cookies for the small cost of $3 in hope that you will have a cookie with a friend and start a conversation that could change your life. But we don't need a specific day to ask our mates if they are okay. Remember the 4 simple steps. Number 1, ask, are you okay? Number 2, listen. Number 3, encourage action. And number 4, check in. Thank you for listening.
Good afternoon, everyone. Next week is a very special person's birthday. Brother Rochford have his birthday next week. I think he'd be about 87, I think. But as we know, Brother is no longer at Shalom with us, but still keeps track of us, and we keep sending him information and things. So we thought it'd be really lovely if we sang happy birthday to Brother, and we're going to film it and send it down to him. Now, the other day at Shalom Day, when we said hello to Brother, we didn't have any microphones down in amongst you guys, so it didn't come out very loudly. We could hear the people at the microphone, but we couldn't hear you. So I'm just asking, I've spoken to some staff, and if anyone else has got their phone with them today, if you could film for us, that would be great. Or your iPad, film for us, and then I'll send you an email about where to submit that piece of clip, and the wonderful Mr. Page is going to put together a nice little version of us singing Happy Birthday so we can send it down to Brother. Also, to house leaders, I did send you an email in the midst of QCS, so I don't know if you saw it, just asking if you could do a bookmark for Brother. You know how he always did a bookmark for each of us? You've all got your house one, so if you could each house do a bookmark for Brother and drop that into me in the next day, that would be lovely, because we'll do a little package up for Brother and send him down his birthday wishes, because he always remembered you, so we want to remember him. So we're going to do a couple of these to be sure that we get great vision and great sound. I am the worst singer. My kids used to say to me, Mum, don't sing. Like, just don't sing. So I'm not going to lead you from the microphone. You guys are going to have to do this. And the phones around the place will pick you up, okay? But I'll lead you off. I'll say 1, 2, 3, whatever else, okay? But you need to be singing up nice and loud, because we're not going to use the microphone at all. Okay. People that are filming, are you ready? Shalom, are you ready? On the count of 3, we'll sing happy birthday to Brother. So happy birthday, dear Brother. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brother. Happy birthday to you. again the little bit more joyously. Okay, ready? So it started to get very slow at the end, okay? So don't be silly and go too fast, but just a little bit more brightness. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Righto, thank you. Thank you. There's one person up the back's put his hat on already. Take it off, please. Now, just a reminder, Year 11 boys need to stay behind and see Mr. McMahon. Just a reminder, Year 9s, you need to get back straight away to your presentations. We'll let go one house at a time, out through those doors. Can I have